All right, welcome to Gamer Tag Radio, episode 1157. Insane that we have that amount of episodes. And this is your host, Danny Pena, here. First of all, thank you everyone for listening. This is a special episode of GTR. And of course, every time we have those special episodes, we always going to have the one and only from Throwdown Show, journalist and also bright host, Tony
Yes.
Polanco. Hey, Tony, what's up?
Yo, Danny, you always give me the best intros. What is going on, brother, man? How you doing?
Everything is good, man. Everything's good. Just been a very busy day. A lot of things I've been doing behind the scenes for the show, which I can't wait to talk about in the future. But great content. Lots of cool content coming up. But
Yeah, that's
besides
what's up.
that, just been good. Playing a lot of Hades, and I just recently just got Psychonauts 2, and that's coming up in the future review. And there's a couple other things too, man. But that's about it so far. I have a lot of things going on. A lot of things, man. What's up with you?
Yeah, I've been good, man. Doing my writing. It's getting busier now, which is always good. That means more money, And as far as playing games go, yeah, I played a little bit of Hades. I got to get back into it. I'm not feeling as much as you did. I
Yeah.
played a little bit of Ascent. That was all right, But I think the reason I wasn't feeling those games so much is because there was another game I wanted to play even more, right?
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about it today, man. We're gonna talk about that Ghost of Tsushima,
Yeah.
baby.
Director's cut. Director's cut.
Director's cut.
So I have to say something about that, Tony. Do you know
Yeah.
this is the first time I'm actually playing the game?
What? Actually, I
Eh,
didn't know that, but yeah, I got
yeah.
act surprised. What?
Yeah. And here's the reason why. Remember, I moved from Miami to New York, right? And I had way too many things that was with me.
Yeah.
Lots of consoles, and I just sold my PS4 during the time. And I said, no, you know what? I'll get a PS5. No rush. I know it's gonna be compatible, or part of the remaster it, I'll play. And which exactly what happened.
Yep.
So I started playing. The game is very beautiful. We're gonna be talking about that in a few minutes here, but first, everyone, for those who are listening, head over to gamertagradio.com, post your comments and feedback. Listen to our past episodes, and you could also find us on any podcast app. Just search for Gamertag Radio. Make sure to subscribe, follow us, and also post a review. We've been getting emails, fan mail questions, all that for the show. So one more time, guys, send us questions because I would love to do a whole episode just strictly answering questions for the fans. So it's up to you. We have questions here, but send us more. All right. And here's how you can contact us. All right, Tony. So before we talk about Ghost of Tsushima, do you plan to do any future Bright sessions or what? Because I know the last one I couldn't attend. I wasn't in town, but I heard it was great. Your last one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the last one went fantastically. It was basically I'm going to be doing all my sessions are going to be about video game journalism, and I wanted the first one to be about introduction. Basically, how do you get your foot in the door, and then what do you do once you start, right? Blogging or independent sites, maybe even big sites. And
Mm-hmm.
I was joined by my friend Taylor Lyles, who writes for IGN, and we had a great back and forth, just telling the people in the chat what was going on, and
Yeah.
that went really well. The people at Bright were very happy, and immediately like, hey, when do you want to do the next one? I'm like, we could do this next month. So in the beginning of September, we don't have a locked date. It's either going to be the 6th or the 9th. I'm going to be doing the follow-up episode, which is going to be all about pitching stories to other places. I have somebody in mind who I want to join on that episode. I'm not going to say nothing right now, but I think it'll be cool because I consider this person like the king of pitching.
Oh,
So
nice,
and I
nice.
think going forward, because it's just my style, Danny. I like bouncing off somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So I will probably always have at least one guest with me, in the field, just giving their expertise and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, what I love about Bright is the fact that I could just bring the fans in, talk to them directly. Had a
Mm-hmm.
couple guys doing that. It was dope, man. So, thank you for hooking me up with all that, letting me, putting me in contact with all those people. And it's been fantastic, man. Spreading the knowledge. Like we always talk about how, it's good for us to do our thing and elevate ourselves, but it's also important to bring people who may be behind us forward too. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
people helped us move forward, so we got to do the same. Pay it forward. And that's a little bit actually more satisfying than just being all by yourself. You know what I'm saying? So Bright's a great platform to do that.
Yeah, totally agree. And I can't wait for Mines. Mines is going to be September 30th on International Podcast Day. And this one is going to be a good one because everybody's always asking me questions about this. how to make money in podcasts.
Mm,
I'm gonna be
mm.
talking about creating media kits and all that good stuff, you know, for the session. So yeah, go. It's I have it actually for cheap. I have it for $20, so people could just go in there, reserve your spot, and yeah, ask questions. You know, I'll give you some great tips on how to get money in podcasts, different ways. Not only just live reads and having those like automatic ads, those pre-roll ads.
Yeah.
There's other ways to make money from there too. So it's gonna be good, really, really good. All right, Tony. So first of all, I wanted to say thanks to PlayStation for not only sending me and also Paris, but also you, Tony, and others a review code for Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. Now, I do have to say, I never played the game. This is the first time that I'm playing it, and Sony sent this just like 2 days ago. And the reason why I wanted to have you, Tony, is because you played this game last year. I know you called this one of your favorite games from last year. Was
Yeah.
this your game of the year last year or no?
Oh, absolutely. It
Yes.
was,
Okay.
man. Like
Okay.
it became my game of the year. Like after Act One, I'm like, game of the year. This is it. This is amazing. That was
Hmm.
just the first act. Then I played the rest. Got the platinum. I love this game. I gush about it all the time. So I was so hyped for this
Mm.
director's cut, which we're going to go deep into. But like you said, you have never played this before, so I need to ask you a bunch of questions. I'm
Yeah.
very
Yeah. Yeah.
curious
But
as a first timer.
I'm not that far compared to because it's only been 2 days. So
Yeah.
so for me it will be more an impression, but for you, it'll be like a review. So but we'll have conversation. You could ask questions, but I do have to say this: the game is very beautiful from the beginning. As soon as you press that start, when you start the game, oh my god, it looks phenomenal. And the thing that I love the most about this, because look, well, growing up back in the '80s in New York City, we used to watch martial arts movies back then.
Yeah.
Every Saturday after, like late afternoon, they should give it all the time. That's how Wu Tang got created. Wu Tang Clan. They were watching the same shows the same movies I used to watch, martial arts movies on Saturdays in New York City. So but anyways, growing up and seeing that, it reminded me a lot of that. Also, it's cool that they give you the option. Hey, you want to have it in English? You want to have it English with subtitles? How about Japanese with English subtitles? Or go strictly black and white from the get?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I decided for the first run, I just put in normal English subtitles for now.
Yeah.
Do you was it like that for you when you first started playing the game, or you had it differently?
Yeah. So I have a bit of an interesting story there because originally I was like, I want this to be like a real like samurai movie, so I'm gonna make it, English, Japanese with English subtitles, right?
Hmm.
But and this is something they addressed in the new version. The lips were off. It was like the lips were moving as if they were speaking English, but it was
Hmm.
Japanese, right? I'm like, this is throwing me off. So I switched it all to English. And Danny, I'm glad I did. The voice acting in this game, absolutely phenomenal, man.
Hmm. Yeah.
And everybody has these really good Japanese accents because, it would have been kind of like, it would have thrown me off if they would have had like normal accents. So everybody has a Japanese accent. I believe a lot of the actors were, Japanese or Asian, right? So they're all great, So I'm like, you know what? Even with directors come, I'm like, no, I know I can switch it. I'm not gonna do it. I love the voice acting. The main dude, Jin, he sounds so good. So
Hmm.
that's what I did. But you're right. It's like that thing really reminds you of those movies, but just like better, obviously, because those old movies they kind of looked a little cheap too, But
Hmm.
like now with this, like the graphics, like I know you played through at least some of the intro and stuff, and like that one scene where like you are just going through the grass, right, and then the title pops up, Ghost of
That was
Tsushima,
phenomenal. Yeah.
bro. And
Yeah.
and the crazy thing about that, Danny, like you don't realize is like you control that, like because you're just looking at it. Like if you don't do anything, the horse just keeps going automatically. But as soon as you touch it, like there, it goes into the game. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy, and the game just kept doing that, man. Just kept this game. I don't think I've taken as many photos in a game before as I have in this one. Because everything is just looks gorgeous. The sunsets, the flowers, everything is just absolutely insane, man. Like I saw that, I'm like, I'm blown away. This is
Hmm.
wild stuff right now, man. And I'm glad you got that feeling too when you played it, because even in the intro, it's like, whoa, this is like another the level of care that Sucker Punch put into this, man. Like you could
Hmm.
tell they really revere Japanese culture so much so that even this game did phenomenally well in Japan. You know, Western games don't do very well,
Hmm.
and the game sold very well over there. And they said, "Thank you, Sucker Punch, for showing us so much respect, so much love." You know, the Japanese absolutely love this, and you could tell like they really honored the culture there, but they also showed you all the horrible stuff that was going on with the Mongols and everything. So
Hmm.
they're very genuine, and I mean, we're gonna get more into some of the other stuff later, but yeah, just the opening alone is just so striking, so visually powerful, man. And
Hmm.
obviously we have a lot of good looking games out right now, but this is one of that actually stands out above the others. And now this PlayStation 5 version looks even better, man. Because it
Yeah.
looked good. It looked good at 1080p. Actually, no, it was variable frame. It was variable frame rate, 30 frames a second. It looked good then. But now, 60 frames a second, 4K, nuts.
Yeah, yeah. Now I do have to mention that I love the soundtrack, and actually, Tony, there's a video of me that Rihanna recorded because I told her, look, just record. This is my first time seeing it. I just record my reaction, and I recorded the first 10 minutes of the game. I had to pick like the ones that I really want to show to the world,
Yeah.
and yeah, I was getting goosebumps left or right playing this game. I was like, oh man, this is so dope. Like, and I get it, there's people that probably already played this last year, but there's a lot of people that maybe it's their first time getting a PS5, and this game's coming out in a few days, and this is gonna be the first time, like me, playing the game also for the first time. So that part was really cool, seeing that, and the intro is pretty long, by the way,
Yeah, it is.
before the official title pops up, right? But one thing you have to mention too, Tony,
Yeah.
and this is the part that stood out to me in the game, is the leaves that's dropping,
Oh,
the different
man.
type of colors, like the colors in this game is so like it's very relaxing, but at the same time you're killing dudes, man, left or right, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like I know people might compare this to Assassin's Creed in a certain way, but I feel like this has a better control, better type of weapons and assassinations, in my opinion, better than Assassin's Creed. Do you feel the same way? Because I think it's a lot of fun, man. Overall, like the controls and gameplay and everything.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you make that comparison because for years, bro, people have been asking the Ubisoft, can we please get an Assassin's Creed game set in Japan, right? People have been asking that forever, right? Not only did we kind of get that with this, we get a better version of it because you're right, the controls in this are better. Though I feel the open world is actually better to explore because this
Hmm.
game, like I'm talking about if you complete every single little thing, it's gonna take you 70 hours. That's literally half of an Assassin's Creed game.
Hmm.
Like you get enough of the game where you're satisfied, you're good, but you don't feel overwhelmed. And yeah, I agree. The assassinations, the stealth it's just better. But I think because Assassin's Creed kind of set the template for it, but this one, let's just be honest, they probably did see what Assassin's Creed was doing. It's like, yo, let's do that, but just better. But they're also using a lot of mechanics that Sucker Punch already employed.
Hmm.
Like there are a lot of mechanics that you saw, even as far back as Sly Cooper, when it comes to the way this guy walks over like tight ropes and stuff, and
Hmm.
especially the infamous games, like they took what they already had and borrowed some elements from Assassin's Creed and made something like you said that's just a lot better, more satisfying. And I want to say this, since we're talking about comparing them to Assassin's Creed,
Hmm.
I was having a very difficult time in this game in the beginning with the combat. I kept getting killed all the time, right? I'm like,
Hmm.
what is wrong with me? I suck. What is happening? And I realized, oh, because I'm playing this like Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed, what you do is you basically just mash on the attack button, and your character will like kind of magnetically lock on to enemies that are around them, right? This game isn't like that. You do that, you're just gonna slash the air,
Hmm.
So when I
Hmm.
was like, all right, I gotta fight like a samurai, hold back, let them come to you. As soon as I started doing that and parrying, that's when it clicked, man. And I'm like, okay, this combat feels so weighty, so like precise and perfect, man. So yeah, like if you love Assassin's Creed games, like this takes what you love and makes it that much better, man. Combat, exploration,
Hmm.
platforming, everything is just so much better.
And I love that when if I lose in the location, it's not the game's fault. I felt like it was my fault because I did
Yeah.
certain things I was not supposed to do, or I try to rush it just to finish that mission. You have to really take your time and be smart about it before you attack. Like you said, parrying to, dodging, even the where you hold the triangle until the enemy comes and start the
Yeah,
fight. That part is really cool, really really cool. I love that a lot. But the tricky part too, the enemies could even trick you because they could be like about to move, but then they're just tricking you so for them to attack also first, you know. So you just have to be careful. But I love that that even the bigger enemies that have a stronger weapon, those takes a lot more time. But you, like, again, you have to be smart on how you kill them because you could also throw like knives or certain things to like confuse the enemy, and then from there you could also attack. Like it's awesome. I just love the gaming mechanics in this a lot, you know.
yeah.
But here's the
Oh,
thing.
I want to just quickly say,
Yeah.
because you mentioned them, they're called duels. I never get enough of them. Like you're going down the road, right? You're doing
Hmm.
your thing, and enemies, and then the game's like press up to duel, right?
Like a
So
stand off,
yeah,
stand
yeah,
off.
but
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
and then, like the way they film it is like an old samurai movie, right? You're there,
Hmm.
you're waiting, the camera's tilting up and down and stuff, and you're right.
Hmm.
Like sometimes the enemy they'll like flinch a little bit, try to psych you, and if you do that, they're gonna take a lot of energy. So you got to wait till the last moment until they strike, and later on, because I know you're still in the beginning, you're able
Hmm.
to chain up to 5 of those kills, like bam, 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 bam. You're like, yo, this is crazy right now, man. Think about it. I must have done
Hmm.
hundreds of these duels. I never get tired of them because every time I do them, I'm like, yo, I get hyped. I'm like, let's go, man.
Yeah,
You,
yeah,
you talk, you talking all that stuff. Let's go.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Now
saying?
I do
Yeah,
have a question for you because
yeah,
I didn't know that there was like a choice thing in the game at all. I
yeah.
thought it was just strictly open world, do your missions and all that stuff. But I noticed during conversation with certain characters, they'll ask you certain things and you have to select out of the two. I don't know if it changes later in the game, but does that affect anything with the story or the character or anything that you unlock based on your choices or no? Because I haven't. I had to do a couple of
Yeah.
selections of people that asked me certain things in the game.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. The director's cut does that as well. I just picked whatever. It didn't seem to change anything. I will say though, there are different endings though. That obviously affects things, but like
Hmm.
I didn't really think about it. It didn't seem like it's not like Mass Effect where like it just changes everything. I think
Hmm.
it just messes around with some of the dialogue. Maybe there's some deeper stuff in there, but this game is pretty like story wise at least, it's very linear. So I think
Hmm.
it's just like it just changes the dialogue for the most part. If there is any big differences, please let us know. But the main choice that I know does affect things is the ending. Like there are multiple endings. It's not like a crazy amount. I think it's like 3 main endings. So
Hmm.
you get to choose that. But that's other than that, that's it. So if I were you, Danny, just go with whatever feels right. Don't
Yeah,
worry
yeah.
about it too much. Yeah,
I'm taking my time. Like I'm not rushing or anything like that.
yeah,
But I do have to ask you a question. And
yeah.
this is again, this is my first time playing the game. I know in the director cut there is a new story in there, like a new short story that wasn't available in the original game. Besides that, Tony, what other things? Also, they fix bugs, issues, and all that stuff. But besides that, is there anything else that's also available in the game for a person that played this game last year that wasn't
Oh, you
available?
mean that wasn't available before?
Yeah.
I know they added some more like skins for your armor, your weapons, some horse armor as well.
Hmm.
And the director's cut will, we'll probably get into this a little bit later. It does have like specific enhancements for the PS5 when it comes to graphics, haptic controls, all that
Hmm.
other stuff. But like as far as content goes, aside from the main story, Iki Island, right, which is very significant, the main things is you do get some more techniques. They're just new skills. You do get more techniques. There are a couple of mini games that aren't in the original game,
Hmm.
right? But they only stay on that specific island. They don't go to like the rest of the game. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know.
So yeah. Most of that content that you're talking about, it's all just kind of relegated to Iki Island, and it's not part of the main world. But you can travel to Iki Island, I believe, after the first act. I think that's either Act One or Act Two. One of those. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I
Hmm.
know the island is as big as the first island that you're currently on. So that tells you how kind of big this expansion is.
Yeah, and here's a part again. I don't want to mention no spoilers or anything, but I love
Yeah.
the part where you're lost and you just from the controller just wipe
Yes.
the pad and it tells you the direction. Like the wind will tell you, okay, go over here, this side. I really love that feature. I really enjoy that so much, Mike. And I'm always every time I'm lost, I'm always pressing the pad to see where I have to go next.
Yeah.
But the good thing about this game that I really enjoy is because look, the other day I woke up like at 3:30 in the morning, and I was thinking about this game a lot because I was playing the night before, and I was like, you know what? Let me play this again. Let me continue to see how far I could get. And I was playing for like straight up like 4 or 5 hours straight on
Wow.
that
You
night.
went
Yeah,
in.
yeah, because the game is really
Yeah.
good, man. It's dude. If the game is good, you have to give it props, man. You know. But I love the story. I love the soundtrack. Love the voice acting. I haven't tried the Japanese version at all or the black and white version. You can select out anytime you want from
Yeah.
the option menu, but the good thing about this is not one of those games where you go from A to B. No, you pick and select where in that map where you would like to go, and while you're traveling, either through horse or whatever, you will find side stuff like side
Yes.
quests or items that will be good for you later in the game. And so I've been just taking my time on that, focusing on like, all right, let me just see how it is. Like there was one part where I was following a bird, a yellow, like
Yes.
a, I think it was like a yellow bird flying, right? And it took me to this bridge, and there was this guy like hiding because there was enemies shooting at him with arrows, and he couldn't escape. And his family like, please help him. And I go over there to help him. And the first try, I died. I'm like, oh man, I messed up. Like it was my fault, right? And then the second time, I went back and I changed my whole strategy on how to attack the enemies, and it went really well. And at the end of every mission or side quest, like I get this, like I get satisfied. Like yo, I did amazing. Like I was like, oh man, I feel like a samurai. You know, like
Yes. And
it's
that's what this thing does,
that's
man.
what I
It
love.
makes you feel like that.
That's the part that I love the most about this game, man. On that, you know what I'm saying. So, what
Yeah.
is it
I
for
do want to,
you?
yeah.
For you, Tony,
Yeah.
what is it like? The part that stood out to you besides that, was there anything else that from when you first started playing, and also, do you feel the same playing it again now for the director's cut?
Yeah. Before I answer that, I do want to touch on something you said because that's very important, right?
Yeah,
Because there's a lot of games where that have a like I hate to bring it up, Ubisoft games, right? Where you got to constantly go back to the map, see what you're missing and stuff, to put the waypoint, do all this stuff, right? This game, yo, like you got a bird just he's always telling you where to go. Like you don't have to pull up the map at all. The bird always tell you where to go. And if you do pull up the map to set a waypoint, you're right. The winds will always guide you. I love how this game just it tries to keep all that kind of, for the lack of a better term, video gamey stuff out of the way. There,
hmm
like you don't even say HUD most of the time. It's just you walking around. So the
hmm
exploration was great, and I love how every mission is broken up into many many parts because let's just say, for example, one mission has like 8 parts, right? You do the first part, and you're trying to go to the second part, and all of a sudden, oh look, I'm gonna go do haiku right now. Oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna go hunt this. Like it just you could just do it any way you want, and that freedom is so good, man. And I really think it helps that the game just again without like putting like a big arrow or something kind of silly that would throw you off. It's like here's some wind, and then you see the leaves blowing and everything,
And
and
it feels
you
right, right? It
yeah,
feels
exactly,
it doesn't feel like other games where it's like let me guide you, like it's like let me
yeah,
hold your
yeah.
hand and take you there. This one is more like it fits it fits perfectly with the game with just the wind, because it could be a normal wind, but it's I don't know, it's hard to explain. You have to like experience
Yeah.
this, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
dope, it's dope, really really cool.
Anyway, to answer your question, so yeah, the main thing that kind of stood out with me was just the just the world, everything, how everything just combined to make you feel like you're in feudal Japan, right?
Yeah.
You see, you're going down the road with your horse, and you see like houses on fire, or like on the opposite, you see people like in the fields tending to the rice and stuff,
Hmm.
and the monuments, Japanese monuments, and they just have so much history, and just the nature of it. Because like nowadays, when we think of Japan, we think of like Tokyo or the big cities and stuff. Like, no, this is like Japan the way it used to be, like this pristine glory, man. So
Hmm.
even though it is based on like a real world place, it feels like mythical, and you could understand how the people who live there would envision these gods, because Japanese, they even till this day, they have a god for everything. Everything has a god, right? So
Hmm.
when you're in this game walking, you can imagine, yeah, there's the god of the rivers, there's the god of the trees, there's the god of the wind. Like you feel so immersed in it, man. And I know there's other games obviously that do a really good job of immersing you in the world, but this one, just because it's a lot of little things that you don't even notice. Like you always hear music kind of playing in the background a little bit. Sometimes it's quiet,
Yeah.
or you hear something off in the distance. You're not sure what it is. The way the sun comes up, sets down, the exploration. It's just it's hard for me to pick one specific thing that stands out, because everything just like gels together, man. It's just so expertly done. Like again, when I played it before and playing now, like that awe I had hasn't gone away, man. I started replaying this like 2 days ago. I'm like, yo, this is why this is my game of the year, man. This is just
Yeah.
great. Although I will admit it took me a little while to get back into the combat again. I was trying to play
You
the
were
same
off.
thing again.
You were
I
thrown
was
off.
off, man. I was off, bro. But I got
Yeah.
it back. I got it back. But yeah, it's just so. And this is why games like this excite me, man, because you could tell the developer did not hold back. There were no limitations. They went all in, man, and just gives a perfect experience.
Yeah. Now I do want to ask you this question, because a lot of people play this on the PS4. Now that it's on PS5, is it worth buying this if you already played the game before? Because for me, this is new to me, so I'm buying it because I want to play for the first time. But for someone that play like you, Tony, is it worth rebuying this again?
Yeah, I would say the Iki Island stuff is worth it right there, because like not only do you get like a brand new kind of island to explore, and it even has different types of like environments in it, which is really cool. I love the story, and I'm not gonna spoil nothing obviously, but I love the story of Iki Island, because there's one specific plot thread that wasn't resolved in the main game. It's not nothing big, but it is something like, oh, we don't find out about this. Like this resolves it. I'm like, oh, that's cool,
Hmm.
because in the main game you had Jin going through a character arc. You know what I'm saying? Like you see the change and stuff, and he becomes a specific type of person by the end. But then this one, you see another character arc from him. Like, okay, this is cool. They really thought this over, and they added so many cool new gameplay elements I can't get too into, but some of them could be very, very trippy. Like, okay, they're being very imaginative right now.
Hmm.
And again, just more of those lush environments. So yeah, if you own this game originally, man, you need to buy this. But especially if you have this on PS4, get the upgrade for PS5, man, because it looks stunning. Like again, the game already looked good as is on PS4. I had it on PS4 Pro. It was already great, but like this, I took even more pictures. I'm like, I gotta stop. I gotta take all these pictures.
Nice.
This
Nice.
is too much, bro. So
Yeah.
it's definitely worth it for sure. But I will say this though: if you do not have a PS5 at the moment, I would say upgrade. I mean, not upgrade. Buy the Iki Island expansion for PS4, and then upgrade to the PS5 version when you're able to, because again, it is really like just remarkable how good it looks, man. And like
Hmm.
for me, I don't have time right now because there's a lot of games I still got to play, but I do want to replay the main mission again, just to experience it, because it's just so good, man. Just like how this year I went back to the first three Mass Effects. I'm like, wow, man,
Oh,
I
it's
remember
incredible,
this.
right?
It's so good. Yeah,
Incredible.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You remember how it used to be, So what I may do is I may wait a couple years, right, Danny, like 5 years, and then come back and go to Tsushima, like, yo, this is tight right now,
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
definitely worth it to me, man.
Yeah, but another question, because I haven't tried this out at all, because I strictly want to continue playing as much as I can,
Yeah.
and I definitely want to finish the story. But there is an online mode. I don't know anything about it. I know they added that after a couple months after the game release for the PS4. What do you could tell us about the online mode that's in the game that for those that have never played this before or doesn't know anything about it?
Yeah, I'm just gonna admit this right now. I've only played about an hour of the online mode,
Okay.
but what I did play was kind of interesting. Basically, it's you and up to three other friends, and you're playing on different maps and stuff. You know, kind of closed maps, and it's horde mode. Basically, you fight a bunch of different hordes and stuff, but you need to strategize a lot because the game kind of they don't change the horde types or whatever, but they do get more like they get harder as each a wave comes around, so you got to really like think quick on your toes and stuff because it's basically you have an area and you need to defend four different spots on it, but obviously when you have a bunch of enemies swarming at you, it gets crazy. And then some enemies, like, you know, because it's just a separate online mode, they have like superpowers and stuff, so
Oh snap!
yeah,
Yeah.
it gets crazy. And but the thing is, there's also a really cool co-op, like it's not a single player mode because it's co-op, but it's a story mode. You know, you and one other friend could go through this co-op mode. It deals with a lot of supernatural stuff. That I did finish that. That was really cool. So definitely check it out. I know some people like they got really deep into it. Like they leveled up their character to the max and stuff. They checked
Wow.
them out. Yeah. So
So is it?
yeah.
I know someone was telling me it's kind of like Destiny because there's puzzles, there's raids, I think, or something like that. Am I right or no?
I see why people would say that, but it's not like that because Destiny is huge. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
have these giant worlds and stuff. Like this is just a closed small map. You know, it's not nothing like Destiny, but
Okay. Okay.
uh,
Okay.
yeah. But you do get like power ups and all this other stuff, different types of armors. You got to like really be conscious of your loadout, like because you could pick four different classes. I don't know what they are exactly, but like you could pick four different classes and stuff. Like one of
Hmm.
them is more like a stealth type, another one's like a straight up samurai. One of them like you know like you could do different things with it. So I guess in that sense it's a little bit like Destiny, but it's not like that because Destiny, like I said, a very big game, lots of people who could play. This is just a small like it's more like Gears of War horde mode, to be honest.
Okay.
You
No,
know?
and I'm good
Yeah,
with that. I'm down
yeah,
with
yeah,
that. That's I love horror mode. That's fun. That
yeah,
definitely. Now you could play with randoms, right? It's not like
yeah. You
only
can
with
play with
friends.
randoms.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm gonna try that out. But do you think I should focus more on the story for now and then play that later?
yeah. Focus on the story for now.
Because I love the story. The story is
Yeah,
awesome. Now, here's the thing that I want to ask you because I
yeah,
don't know if I'm doing something wrong or what. But remember the story I was telling you about the bridge?
yeah.
There was one part where I jumped from on top and I assassinated the one of the enemies there, right? And this footage came up. I don't want to say what it is, but something about that it's not good to kill enemies from behind their back. You have to look on their face. You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about. I don't want to say
yeah.
the story, but I did that a couple times. Is that gonna hurt my character's story based on what I've been doing? Because I love assassinations. Like I love being sneaking from the back, kill them like that. Or there's gonna be some cases we'll go face to face. But there's gonna be some situations where I just don't have the time, or I have to be smart because there's so many enemies in that area. It could get really complicated if you do the wrong thing. So, am I doing something wrong or not?
No, again, no spoilers, but it's part of the story. You're
It
good.
is. Oh,
Yeah, it's part
okay.
of the story because I'm gonna say this right because
Yeah.
remember you said you're assassinating somebody from the shadows. That's against the samurai code, right?
Yeah.
But that's part of the story. That's something like Jin basically again no spoilers. Jin has to like decide does he want to be a full on samurai or does he decide I'm going to do what I need to do to protect people. So it's an ongoing thing. So no, you're not doing anything wrong. You're perfectly fine. You know,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
you're good. You're good. Yeah, the game doesn't force you to play a specific style.
Because
So I'll say that it doesn't force you. You're not
yeah.
doing anything wrong. The story's not going to change depending on what you do. You're good, but it's part of the story and it's really compelling because again, you have this guy. He has two different sides competing. He has his past and he
Yeah.
has his future. It's like, oh, what do we do here? And it's the way it unfolds, Danny, is so dope, man.
Yeah, because I care. I care about the character. There's not that
Yeah,
many games you could say that. Because some you like, yeah, just like the game and that's it. But I actually care about Jin.
yeah,
So when that happens, I'm like, yo, am I messing it up? Like, I want to be careful because I don't want to
Yeah,
mess
no,
up
you're
the
good.
story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I asked. Again, first time playing it, so
Yeah,
just
I'm glad you asked me because I don't want you thinking that. Like you're good, you're good to go. Just keep it.
yeah, yeah,
And again, that's what makes the story fun. That inner conflict that he has. It's so
yeah.
dope, man.
Cause there's not that many games you can say that, right, Tony? Like
No,
even during like Mass Effect 2, I love Mass Effect, all three of them, but 2, that to me is the best Mass Effect.
oh
Like
yeah,
even the choices I was making in that game, I was being careful because I care about the character, So,
yeah,
but it's good to know that you mentioned that and explained to me because there's probably going to be other people that are playing this for the first time. They're probably going to feel the same way, Like I
yeah,
don't want to mess it up. You know what
yeah.
I'm
No,
saying?
you're good. This is not Mass Effect. You're not gonna get anybody killed by the end. Nothing like
No, no,
that.
no.
You're
Yeah,
good to go. Yeah, you're good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The game is very challenging. I love that, and even in the beginning, it's challenging, which is
Yeah,
insane. But it made me a better player
yeah.
because now again I'm taking my time on what I'm gonna do in order for me to kill certain enemies or I just love that. Even if you die, you stay in that location and you go back again and you start from scratch. You know what I'm saying? So it's really really cool, man. I can't wait to go far in the story. I'm very excited,
Yeah,
man.
I,
Very,
I
very cool.
definitely want to hear your thoughts. Just, I'm excited hearing you talking about it.
Yeah,
Because you sound the way I did when I first started. Because again, it's just such a like engrossing experience. You're like, oh my god, like you said, you couldn't even put it down. Like I think for me, the longest I played was like 6 hours nonstop. It's like when this game gets you, it gets you, man.
now, another question that probably people that have a PS4 don't have a PS5. Does it feel different now with the DualSense? Do you think they did a pretty good job with the DualSense, or it's just one of those? Because there's certain games on PS5 where when you play it, like for example, a third party game, like let's say Call of Duty, DualSense not that great, not that great. But if you play a game like Ratchet and Clank, like you could tell that was for 100% focus on PS5, 100% focus on that controller. You could tell the difference when you play a game like that, right? Now, for you, is there a difference between? Because I never played the PS4 version, but was it worth it playing this on a DualSense controller for you?
Yeah, I mean, the DualSense haptics just come with the bundle automatically, but I'm gonna say this: it does feel like it was thrown in later. You know what I'm saying? It
Oh,
doesn't
okay,
feel
so it's
like,
one of those.
yeah,
Okay, okay. Because
yeah.
for
It's
me,
like,
it feels great. It feels
yeah, it
good.
does, yeah.
Not
But it
a
feels like,
hundred, not 100%, but it feels good.
y- yeah, no, you said it right. It feels like a third party version of haptic feedback. Like for example, if you're doing an arrow, knocking an arrow, like you feel resistance when you hold the left trigger and all that. And when you're walking over water or like grass, like the rumble is a little bit different, but it's not like Ratchet and Clank or Astro's Playroom where
Because
you're
you
like,
that's an
whoa.
experience playing that. Yes.
Yeah. So it's good, but it's not like, oh my god, this is crazy. It's not
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah. So Tony, like, just to end this, why should people try this game if they have never played Ghost of Tsushima before?
All right. Okay. Simple. Because this is one of, and I'm saying this, we now live in an age where like a lot of big AAA games are open world games, right? But
Yeah,
this one stands out even among that crowd just because of the fact that it is taking a setting that is both familiar but different. Like, yes, you've seen a lot of Japanese games or like, samurai games in the past, but this one you feel like you're living in that world. And like you said, you care about these characters. Like you want to do every mission possible because you feel like you are part of the world and you care for it and you want to invest in it and just make it better, right? The combat, like you said, is some of the best out there, and it's strategic. If you die, it's your fault. You messed up, but it's also not like Demon Souls or anything like that, where it's just crazy. Like if you understand just the basics and just know how to slow things down, you're gonna be good to go. Obviously, the graphics are like this is like a game where like if your friends come over, you pop this on, like check this out. This looks crazy. That's another reason. And like I said before, I like the fact that this game has so much content in it, yet it doesn't feel like a chore. Everything feels like it belongs there, like you want to do it, and you could do everything in a relatively short amount of time if you really want. So it's just great on the level. And obviously, if you already played this game, Iki Island just makes it better because it takes everything that you loved about the core game and just adds more of it. Like Iki Island is basically like a short version of the main experience, but
Mm-hmm.
just in a different locale, different weapons, all this other stuff. It's just great overall. But I think the people who are going to get the most out of this are people like you who, for the first time, playing this game, but on a PS5. So this is an experience. Like, yes, I understand it's a last gen game or whatever, but it is as good as like any game, current gen game out there. So, yeah, I will happily stand this game.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it is good, man. It is fantastic.
No, and I also will say, for someone that's just started playing this for the first time, it's one of those gems that we're gonna be talking about this years from now.
Yes.
Years from now.
Well,
So
yeah. Well, think about it, Danny. I'm so glad you said that because think about it. It's been a year. People were still talking about this game a year later.
yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, we forgot about Ghost of Tsushima. People were still talking about it till this day. So I 100% agree with you. People will continue to keep talking about this until Ghost of Tsushima 2 comes out.
Yeah, which that's gonna happen for
Oh,
sure.
of course, of
For sure, it's
course.
gonna happen. And here, one thing I have to mention though, Tony, I remember because I remember I was in I think I was in New York City online, and everybody was talking about the game. My God, the game is beautiful. This is only the single player game, right? And I love how the developers just out of nowhere announced, "Oh yeah, we have a free update. It's online
Yo,
mode." People were freaking out, like, "What? What?" Because that's the thing. A lot of companies are focusing so much on just the multiplayer and then the story. This one, again, I haven't played the multiplayer yet, but I'll play it later once I'm done with the story. It feels like this was more single player first, multiplayer later. Am,
yes,
am I
yeah.
right?
Oh, absolutely. Because obviously the multiplayer was being worked on, while the single player was there. But you're right. It feels like the main focus, and it still is too. The main focus is the single player,
Hmm.
but the multiplayer is not bad. So you have that as well. And like you said, it's so cool that Sucker Punch just surprised everybody. Like, hey, we got a multiplayer game. It's like we got a multiplayer mode, and it's coming out like next month, and it's free. People are like,
And
what?
nobody was
You know?
expecting that. Zero. No one. Because everybody thought, okay, this is just single player. Because the majority of PlayStation games has always been single player campaign,
Yeah.
right? So when they announced that, people were freaking out. And I remember seeing the timeline on Twitter, but everybody was all over the place. Like, wait, what? Free next month? Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's
Really,
wild,
really.
man.
Yeah, yeah. No, but again, I highly recommend for everyone to try this out. Again, I have a lot of hours, but it's still early in the game, and I think this is even with those hours that I played, it's so worth it, man. If you have a PS5, you have never ever played this game, highly recommend it. Tony said even if you play this game, go for it. Try this
Yes.
out just for the new content in there, man. So and plus it looks beautiful, man. It looks really really good.
Man.
And look, I don't even have a 4K TV, and it looks freaking beautiful just with that.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that is really really cool. But yeah, first of all, before we wrap this up, just want to say thank you once again to PlayStation for sending me a code. I was very surprised and excited when I got the email. Like, oh man, Ghost of Tsushima director's cut. What? Can't wait. Really really cool. All right, Tony. Anything you would like to promote before we wrap it up here, man?
Yeah, a couple of things here. I do want to say this. Like, obviously, people are going to be listening to this episode whenever, but you guys listening to this episode fresh when it comes right out of the oven, right? This is the first time you're hearing me speaking about this publicly. I have not talked about this game yet, because of embargo and all that, because my
Yeah.
review will be going up on PC Mag on the launch day, which is tomorrow for you, if you guys are listening new. So, Danny, yeah, this is the first time I'm actually speaking about it publicly. So it's so dope for me to be on here with you, talking about it, but not just about the director's cut, but just about Ghost of Tsushima overall, like a celebration of this game. So yeah,
Yeah.
you heard it here first, man. Get this game and it's awesome. So like I said, yeah, I'm a writer for PC Mag. I'm also a writer for Laptop Mag, and I am the host of the Throwdown Show podcast, which airs every Thursday and Sunday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern over on Twitch, and we're also on every podcast app on planet Earth. Throwdown
Yes.
Show.
Yes. I love it.
And it's great, man. And If you're respectful, you can follow me on Twitter at Romudeth, ROMUDTH. Got links to all my stuff in the bio, man. Yeah, let's keep the conversation going, but keep it respectful, people.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, if you wanna follow Tony on Twitter, he sometimes starts violence early in the morning, but
Yeah, because when I say Game Pass is great, you know?
yeah, it's hilarious, man. All right, man. But no, I just want to say to everybody, thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening, the conversation, and also watching the video, man. I'll probably post like the video on YouTube and stuff just for fun.
Nice.
But yeah, everyone, thank you so much. And until next time, this is Danny Pena and also Tony Polanco from a Throwdown Show. Remember, follow us, Gamertag Radio on Twitter, or hit us up, 786-273-7GTR, or fanmail at gamertagradio.com. Until next time, we're out. Peace.